The Healing Room, where we identify trauma, setbacks, and delays, release them so we are no longer held back by pain, anger, bitterness, or low self esteem. When entering the healing room, we come with expectations for our healing journey to begin, where we cleanse our spirits, energies, and affirm who we are. Also, learn how to love ourselves holistically. All are welcome and no one is judged. Welcome to the healing room, where we identify trauma and heal holistically. It is good to have each and every one of you in the healing room, and I trust all is well with all of you, and we give thanks and praise as we go forward, identifying trauma we have experienced through disaster, healing from the trauma of disaster. Yes. So, once again, welcome to the healing room. And we are eternally grateful for this opportunity to come together and go through our healing journey. A time of meditation is the first thing that we are going to do. We have a 5-minute time of meditation. And what do we do in this meditation is when we relax ourselves and prepare ourselves to take the initiative in identifying our trauma. And how do we do this? We breathe in through our nose, hold for the count of 4, and then we breathe out through our mouth. So we breathe in, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, breathe out, 2, 3, 4. So in through the nose, hold, and then out through the mouth for the count of 4. And we will go into a time of meditation for 5 minutes. Breathe in through the nose, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out, 2, 3, 4. One more minute. Breathe in through the nose. Count 2, 3, 4. Hold 2, 3, 4. Out through the mouth. 2, 3, 4. Breathe in. 2, 3, 4. Hold 2, 3, 4. Out through the mouth. 2, 3, 4. Awesome, 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 awesome. Yes. Now we find ourselves in that nice, relaxed state of mind that we can now go into a time of identifying the trauma, that a disaster that we've experienced that has caused us trauma. Yes, the disaster that we have experienced that has caused us trauma. So let's identify some disasters that we may have been in, we may have find ourselves in the midst of that has caused us trauma. You may have been in a snowstorm. Yes, and you've seen all the other cars sliding off the road or accidents occurring in a snowstorm, a blizzard. You may have experienced trauma from being stuck in a snowstorm. The next disaster you may have experienced a trauma from is from a hurricane. You may have been stuck in a hurricane for a number of days or hours, and that may have caused you great trauma. You may have lost family members in a hurricane, and that has caused you great trauma. The disaster of a hurricane. The next trauma you may have occurred may be a fire, where there's a fire to a home or blazing forest fire in your neighborhood, your town, your state, your city, your island. You may have experienced a disaster of a fire where you lost all of your belongings. The next trauma, disaster you may have encountered may be an earthquake. Yes, you may have experienced an earthquake, and that has caused you trauma, feeling the earth moving beneath you, seeing buildings tumble down. You may have experienced the disaster of an earthquake, and that has caused you trauma. The next trauma we want to identify may be a flooding from a tsunami, a typhoon, a flash flood may have caused you trauma. Yes, so we identifying some disasters that may have caused us trauma, whether it's a snowstorm, a blizzard, a hurricane, fire, an earthquake, or flooding. In identifying these traumas, these disasters that cost you trauma, you need now to either bring to your memory or write on a piece of paper, what did you hear when you was in the midst of that trauma? What was the sound around you? Was the wind? Um, what was the sound? The screaming of voices, the rolling of sirens, the thunder and lightning. What did you hear in the midst of that trauma? Time to You want to write down or bring back to memory, what did you see? What did you see in the midst of that disaster that has caused you trauma, that has caused you to have flashbacks? Yes. How did you feel when you was in the midst of that trauma? How did you feel? Next, you want to identify, what did you fear while you were in the midst of that disaster? What did you fear? The next thing you want to identify that has caused you trauma in the midst of a disaster, the loss you experience, whether it's loss of property, loss of loved ones. What loss did you experience in the midst of that disaster that has caused you trauma? Next, reoccurring dreams and emotions and anxiety. Identifying your reoccurring dreams, emotions, and anxiety that you may have encountered or experienced when you were in the midst of that disaster that has caused you trauma. Now we're going to take this time to release. Release all that you've heard. Release it, let it go. Let it know that it cannot occupy your space in your hearing anymore. What you saw, it cannot exist anymore. You're releasing it. What you felt, you're releasing it. What you feared, you're releasing it. And what you've lost, you're releasing it. Yes, let it go. Let it go. It is a process, but it's a must that you let it go so it no longer cripples you, stagnates you, or causes you not to be able to function in your full capacity as you need to function in your everyday um, work and life. Yes. So now it's time to clean house. House cleaning time. House cleaning time. And I will read this in your hearing twice. House cleaning time. I will read it in your hearing twice. Yes. I dismantle all of my fears that is connected to what I saw, heard, and felt when the disaster came. I take back my life and my ability to function at my highest. I am no longer stagnated and unable to work and complete my daily tasks and assignments. I dismantle all fears from reoccurring dreams. I release myself to grieve and heal from and for the people and things I have lost. I take back my joy, peace, sleep, emotions, and ability to think clearly. I walk in divine purpose and celebrate the gift of life. I am who the I am say that I am. One more time, I'll read it in your hearing. I dismantle all of my fears that is connected to what I saw, heard, and felt when that disaster came. I take back my life and my ability to function at my highest. I am now, I know, I am no longer stagnated and unable to work and complete my daily task and assignment. I dismantle all fears from reoccurring dreams. I release myself to grieve and heal from and for the people and things I have lost. I take back my joy, peace, sleep, emotion, and ability to think clearly. I walk in divine purpose and celebrate the gift of life. I am who the I am say that I am. Yes, you are who the I am say that you are. You are no longer what you have been through. You're no longer stagnated by your experience and the trauma you encountered in a disaster. The next thing we're going to do is go through a few affirmations. A few affirmations. I will repeat them each one 3 times. I will repeat each affirmation 3 times. I am no longer a slave to fear. I am no longer a slave to fear. I am no longer a slave to fear. I am an overcomer. I am an overcomer. I am an overcomer. I am victorious. I am victorious. I am victorious. I am completely and totally healed mentally, physically, and spiritually. I am completely and totally healed mentally, physically, and spiritually. I am completely and totally healed mentally, physically, and spiritually. I am whole. I am whole. I am whole. I am emotionally stable. I am emotionally stable. I am emotionally stable. I am walking in the fullness of who I am. I am walking in the fullness of who I am. I am walking in the fullness of who I am. I am stronger than I give myself credit for. I am stronger than I give myself credit for. I am stronger than I give myself credit for. I am psychologically healed. I am psychologically healed. I am psychologically healed. And so I want to encourage you as you continue in your healing, you can also add to your affirmation. Uh, yeah, it is very important that you add to your affirmation as you go through your healing process. And so at this point now, I just want to give you words of encouragement. And my words of encouragement every time I do a healing room is be gentle with yourself. Healing is a process and a journey. Let me repeat that one more time. Be gentle with yourself. Healing is a process and a journey. So you've begun your healing process and journey, and it's going to take some time, but be patient with yourself. Be gentle with yourself because sometimes we feel like a month or two has gone past, or even a year has gone past, and then all of a sudden, on the anniversary of when that trauma took place, you find yourself breaking down and crying. But I want you to be gentle with yourself, because reconnecting with your trauma, take take your time and allow each step to bring you closer to your wholeness. Allow each step of your journey to bring you closer to your wholeness. So I encourage you to be gentle with yourself. Healing is a process and a journey. And my closing remarks to you is this: hold your head up. Hold your head up. Don't let the disaster you have experienced hold you back from accomplishing and completing your assignments and your tasks that the divine has given you. You are here not by accident. Your disaster that you've experienced did not take you out. It is an experience that you had, and nobody can take that experience away from you, but you can also be healed from it. So I thank you so much for this opportunity to walk you through your healing process, healing from the trauma, from the disaster that you've experienced, and the trauma the trauma you've experienced from the disaster that you've been in. Whether it's a snowstorm, once again, whether it's a hurricane, whether it's a fire, whether it's a tsunami or earthquake, a flood. Be much encouraged, be strengthened, and continue in your healing.